So, tell me why your sister does not want you dueling.
Huh? Don't worry about my sister.
Observation number 8. Humans have ears, but that does not mean they listen.
Cannot wait. We are ready for this. Welcome back, everybody. You're watching the 2014 Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card Game World Championship, and the match we're about to have is going to be the finals of the Dragon Duel World Championship. Now, the World Championship itself, it has a very long history. It goes all the way back to 2003, when it began in New York City at Madison Square Garden. And we've had one every year since. The Dragon Duel World Championship is more of a new thing. We didn't start having the Dragon Duel program until just a few years ago, and it gives younger duelists an environment where they can play with other younger duelists and begin to learn to develop their skills, both on the field and off, sportsmanship, that sort of thing, with their peer group, instead of immediately being thrust into competition with players that are from anywhere from, I don't know, 10 to 65.
Just so they don't feel threatened.
And to help celebrate that, make sure they realize that this is absolutely serious, we decided to create an entire World Championship qualifier and World Championship just for the Dragon Duelists. And that started 2 years ago in Japan. Now, since then, we've seen 2 Dragon Duel World Championship finals. And the 2 of them could not be more different. One of them was a completely dominating performance, and well, actually, both of them were completely dominating, but in one, both players had a chance to do stuff, and the other time, not so much. One of them was in the days of Evil Swarm and Rescue Rabbit and Evil Swarm Lagia. So let's go ahead and meet our players for the 3rd Dragon Duel World Championship final.
내 이름은 김찬호. 저는 한국에서 왔습니다.
Ivan Alvarez de República Dominicana.
All right, we saw Ivan Alvarez before. He is, in fact, playing Medolce. And Kim Chan-ho is back as well, and he's playing Bujins. Interestingly enough, this is the exact same matchup that Kim Chan-ho found himself in the first round of the knockouts.
It's actually almost the exact same deck as well that he's playing against.
Right down to the fire hands and ice hands. There are differences, though.
Although you've seen Ivan play this deck before, it's the mech deck that we came up with. Because he's running Maxi, Effect Veiler, Medolce. No, it's Medolce, Effect Veiler, Maxi, and then Hands, Mech.
And it's the same split of, I believe we talked about this before, that the 1-1 split between Maxi and Effect Veiler is what lets us get those extra letters in there, and what gives Ivan Alvarez extra flexibility in the first duel. Against Bujins, Maxi isn't going to be as useful. Many of the special summons in the Bujin deck are not done by an effect that goes on the chain. So Bujin Harume has a special effect that just adds an action you can take during your mate phase, which is special summoning her by banishing a Bujin from your graveyard. And you cannot activate Maxi in that instance. You could try to negate the summon, but there's no opportunity to play that Maxi.
So it's definitely going to get sided out.
Yeah, that's probably going out. Ivan Alvarez only has 1 copy of Medolce Ticket. I believe the last time we saw Medolce's, we saw 2 copies of Ticket, just in case the first one gets destroyed.
It didn't really make that much of a difference. It stood out.
Yeah, it's true. But in previous days, well, yesterday, really.
Yesterday,
Medolce Ticket was a massive reason.
It was actually Ivan.
Yep. That's why Medolce was able to be successful. And his opponent didn't have Mystical Space Typhoon in the main deck at that point. And that's not going to be the case this time, as Kim Chan-ho does have a couple copies of Mystical Space Typhoon to begin with.
Now, Ivan's actually running 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon as well.
Going to see a whole lot of spell and trap cards being destroyed in this one.
There's nothing all that specific, though.
Just getting cards out of the way so you can make your plays. And speaking of plays, it looks like we are ready.
And that's a Tenki, a Bujin Carnation, a Mystical Space Typhoon, a Mirror Force, and a second Tenki.
And even Alvarez, you can see he's got Dolce Chateau, Messengelato, Mystical Space Typhoon, Maxi, Bottomless, Trap Hole.
So it's a good opening for both of them, really.
I'd say advantage Kim Chan-ho with his ability to search his deck for Bujin Yamato. That said, he does not get to go first in this game, and Alvarez puts down an early Messenger Lotto with Medolce Chateau.
And there's the bottomless trap hole to stop that Yamato in its tracks. Although there is a Mystical Space Typhoon coming down, it is going to be a case of, oh...
Well, he's already activated one Fire Formation Tanky. He can't go ahead and activate the other, even though the first one failed to resolve.
Now, there is a Mikazuchi now in the hand as well, so that's going to be the target for the bottomless trap hole. I'm surprised that he summoned it without having to get rid of the back row.
There's no need to activate it yet until the Mystical Space Typhoon comes down to destroy Medolce Chateau. Alvarez is able to keep his bottomless trap hole in this case, though without the Medolce Chateau, Messenger Lotto goes back to the deck, and Alvarez is left with no monsters.
Always an advantage with Medolce, you're never going to run out of monsters in your deck. Unless, of course, there is Macrocosmos or Dimensional Fissure.
We haven't actually seen Macrocosmos this weekend.
No,
Dimensional Fissure showed up a couple times.
I think the whole problem with Macrocosmos over Dimensional Fissure is Macrocosmos removes all cards from play, if I remember.
Right.
So you're looking at, yeah, monsters are going to get removed from play, but I can get those back. I can't get my Spell and Trap card back from the banished zone.
Second face down card joins Alvarez's side of the field.
And
Kim
there's a
Chang-ho has the second Tenki, and now Bujin Yamato is in hand. Lucky for Alvarez, the Mystical Space Typhoon was directed away from his bottomless trap hole, so he will have the opportunity to respond.
Yeah, he also has a Bujinji Turtle there.
Turtle and Bujin Carnation.
Now, for people that don't really know about Bujin,
Yes.
the whole idea of Bujin is to get one monster out and make that monster practically invincible by using Turtle and Rabbit to basically stop you destroying or targeting your cards.
Generally, Bujin Yamato is the one monster that you want because it is the one that can set up all of that. During the end phase, it adds a card from your deck to your hand, a Bujin, and then sends one to the graveyard.
Now, Bujin Yamato has fallen into a bottomless trap hole, and Mikazuchi has attacked directly.
Ivan Alvarez have to be careful of the possibility of Bujin Carnation, because if he destroys Mikazuchi, and that is his goal, then Bujin Carnation suddenly becomes live.
And Magdalene has hit the field. There is a Trapstone down there as well.
Trapstone will be useful once Alvarez assembles his combos, but he needs to get there first. And Jelly is the card selected for Magdalen's effect. And next turn, Alvarez will be able to begin putting his combos together. You know, for an actual, like a real combo deck, like Medolce, where there's a specific combo you want to perform, as opposed to a deck like Bujin, where you're just trying to protect one monster the entire time, they kind of go at the same speed.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to go from, okay, well, I don't have any of my combo pieces, so I have to summon Magdalene, and then I have to get them. It's a lot like, okay, well, I have to Tenki, and now I have to summon Yamato, then I have to search, and then it still takes another turn before I get all of my protection online, so I kind of want to wait then as well. They're very similar in a way.
Yeah, it's very interesting that these slow decks got past the Infernity that was being run.
It is kind of interesting. I don't think it had quite as big of a presence in the Dragon Duels as it did.
It didn't as much, but
both of these players defeated Infernity Duels in their semifinals,
Yeah.
and that's why we had the third and fourth place match that we did. Bujingi Turtle is combined with Bujin Mikazuchi.
I believe that's a Susanoo.
That is.
Now, Susanoo can attack all monsters on the other side of the field, which is just fantastic.
Turtle's detached, and now he can add a Bujin to his hand or send it to the graveyard. Jingi Crane is added to the hand. That can bring Susanoo all the way up to 4,800. Attacks Magdalene. 1,100 damage because Susanoo is getting the 100 boost from Tenki. And Kim Chenho is considering using the crane for extra damage, which he does. That makes Susanoo 4,800.
Oh, it's the original attack that it doubles, isn't it?
It sets the attack to double the original.
Yeah.
There you go, becomes double the original attack, and that means that the attack will be 4,800 regardless of the boost. The boost will reapply once Crane's effect ends. 2,500 attack on a monster that can attack everything your opponent throws down is certainly nothing to sneeze at, especially when it's searching you more cards out of your deck each turn.
Yes.
It's kind of like a bigger Gear Gigant X in that way.
Bigger Gigant X with a better effect.
Well, Gear Gigant does have that when it's sent to the graveyard effect, which helps duelists out a lot when they're running with the 2 Gear Gianos.
Is that more useful than having the ability to be able to clear your opponent's field?
It depends. Depends on if you're going to clear your opponent's field with Silent Otter Arc or Exciton Knight, or if you're going to clear it with Juntei Susanoo.
I guess.
Rume is special summoned. And it appears that Alvarez has sent a Max C to the graveyard.
Interesting. As if it's expecting a few more special summons to go. But personally, I can't see many more he could make.
Appears that he was attempting to use it when Bujin Harume was summoned, which we discussed earlier. We can't actually do that, doesn't start a chain. And so, I'm going to go ahead and fix that up for you. Now with the Harume in main phase 2, do you think there's a reason why he didn't summon it in main phase 1 to press for extra damage? Considering that he used the crane to get in some extra damage against Magdalene. If you're going to use the crane in that way, why would you not first... Oh, wait.
There's a set trap card there.
There is.
So I'm thinking he's thinking maybe that's Torrential Tribute.
It's possible.
And I don't really want to risk losing everything.
It would be something that Bujingi Turtle cannot negate.
Yeah.
Dolce Angeli comes down for even Alvarez. And a special summons Dolce Hootcake in defense position. He's clearly prepared for the fact that his plays might not go through because of the face down card.
Messenger
And that's
Lotto.
why you want to put the monsters in defense at that point. It's a nice wall for your life points, especially against Susanoo. And Dolce Ticket is next.
His opponent has no way of getting rid of that Dolce Ticket at the moment.
And fortunately for Alvarez, the Hootcake cannot be destroyed by battle, but by having it in defense position, he also can't take any extra damage.
Okay, that looks like it was a compulsory evacuation device, but I will just clarify that. Yes, it was.
Ticket's activated, and so is the effect of Juntei Susanoo. Goes ahead and grabs another Yamato. No Yamato on the field, so he can go and bring that out whenever he likes. Bujin Harume is 2,100 attack points thanks to that Fire Formation Tenki, which is actually just Cyber Dragon level at this point. He does not have the Cyber Dragon Claws, though.
Okay.
Yamato is summoned. We go into battle.
Susanoo just attacked Hootcake, and Ivan shrugs.
So does Hootcake. It's not destroyed by the battle. But Susanoo still gets another attack, and it uses it on Messenger Lotto.
Now, at that point, I don't know if that's something that I would have done.
It's a tough call.
Because now he's able to go and get his Mewfield. And that's allowing him to go Mewfield Magdalene, or Magdalene something else.
It's a great combo play, but there's still 2 level 4 monsters on the field and a compulsory evacuation device in hand. Plenty of opportunities to block the play.
And there goes down the compulsory evacuation device.
No Xyz summon,
And
but there is a compulsory evacuation device, and in the end phase, Bujingi Hair is added to the hand and sent to the graveyard. Now Alvarez has all of his combos together. And he flips the Trap Stun. Trap Stun's going to keep that compulsory evacuation device from ruining his day. Beautiful. Self-summons Magellin.
Levier.
The
is
2
gonna
level
go.
3s are combined to C7 Levier, which can get back the banished Angeli.
Yep. Which can then tribute itself. Get itself.
Detaches Mufil, summons Angeli.
Now, ooh, maybe he's going to...
And I think
Yeah.
the 2 are going to be combined for Queen Tiramisu right now. Also may be considering... I'm trying to count up the cards real fast to see if Excite on 9 is in
Yeah,
play here.
Exciting Night is a play.
Believe it is.
Yeah, there's only 1, 2.
I don't think you give up your 1 ticket for this, though. And that is what he's thinking about. He's going to go ahead and give it a shot. Excite on Night. Jingi Hair is banished to protect Susanoo. And because Hirume is destroyed, Kim Chan-ho, if he wants to,
No, she's not.
wipe the board. He's not gonna, though.
Yeah, you can Booch Incarnation there.
It's an interesting play.
Wait. No.
Susanoo successfully attacks the Excite on Night because the card
Which
count
is-
had been evened up.
No, actually. They were on 2. He was on 3.
And he had 3. But he set Ice Hand, which takes out Bottomless Trap Hole. Now, Susanoo can keep attacking the hands, but I doubt that he's going to do that without... Oh, no, he does have banished Bujin monsters hiding underneath his graveyard. And what he can do is banish the turtle to protect Susanoo. Actually, no, he can't. Can we bring up Bujin Turtle real fast?
Oh, of course. No.
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 So, Bujingi Hair you can banish any time during the turn to create a shield,
Yeah, I believe it's only
but
when
Turtle is when it's actually targeted.
Yeah.
Won't work in the damage step.
Nope.
So Susanoo attacking into that fire hand
I think
won't accomplish
that's actually
much.
what he's just checked there.
Yeah, but taking out fire hand. It's one of those things, though, that, you know, if you're not certain, but you're pretty sure you're right and that it can't be used in the damage step, maybe you don't ask for the translation there until he's made the move
Yeah.
and committed to it.
Now, Kim Chan-ho does have a Dark Hole in hand and a Booch Incarnation, so he's got nothing to lose at this point.
He just needs his opponent to have a monster, preferably not Fire Hand if he's going to use Booch Incarnation. Message Gelato normal summon. Fire Hand, switch to attack position. And he attacks with it into the Susanoo.
Now, Ivan is on
Alvarez. He had to be
very little
very
health.
careful with that. If his opponent had had an Honest or Bujingi Crane, that could have been it.
Unfortunately, if there is nothing else he can do, then that is going to be it.
Ice Hand. is special summoned still during the battle phase. Attacks for 14.
So just chipping away there at Kim.
1600 follows.
So that's 3,000. Bringing the total to 2,000 and 1,500, I believe.
And in main phase 2, Ivan's taking a quick look at his extra deck to see if he wants to Exceed summon something. In this case, you could actually throw out... oh, he's got... only one copy of Silent Honor Arc.
Yeah. And it's Maestroke.
Maestroke, yes, the Destruction Protection.
Which is my favorite card.
So the great thing about Maestroke in this situation is that, unlike Silent Honor Arc, Silent Honor Arc could detach itself to be saved from a Dark Hole, but then you wouldn't be able to use its effect as well. You only need one Xyz material to use Maestroke's effect, and it's pretty good against Bujin decks, flipping down their monsters so that they can't be, aided by Honest or Crane. Does have to consider that that turtle is still in the graveyard, though. So even if we were to use Maestroke's ability, there's a chance it'd be negated.
Although, we do have a Dark Hole in hand.
Yep, the Dark Hole is there, and you could force off a material that way.
And there's 2 Dark Holes.
And
one in each hand.
One copy of DD Crow.
Which at the moment doesn't help him that much.
Has made it there. But if his opponent comes up with a Medolce Hoot Cake in the future to try to get back into it, could be very useful.
Yeah.
Bujin Carnation.
Maxi.
And now we can play the Maxi.
And that's going to be 2 more cards in hand.
It should be 1.
Really?
It's
Does
one
it only do it
instance of
as
special
one
summons.
instance?
Yes.
Okay.
But the Xyz summon afterwards will... No, if he makes an Xyz summon afterwards, now you have to think about it. Normally it's automatic. And looking at Yamato and Yamato. Neither monster on their own can take down Maestroke. And Kim Chan-ho is now under the effect of Max C. In the end phase, he can go ahead and actually add 2 cards, in a way. First, Bujin Hair is added to the hand and sent to the graveyard, and then a second Bujin Carnation is added to Kim Chan-ho's hand. The Hair, while it didn't really last very long in his hand, is safe in the graveyard, where its effects still can be played, which is one of the strengths of the Bujin deck, is that there are many cards that you can put in the graveyard and still get use out of them.
Ooh, now Ivan's just drawn into a Black Horn of Heaven.
Could be very useful.
Could be very useful later.
Turn. But again, he has to consider the fact that his opponent just added another Bujin Carnation to his hand. So even if he uses Black Horn of Heaven on the first Xyz summon,
he's just drawn Mind Control.
There can be another one as well. Mind Control definitely gives you something to think about here. In his hand, he has nothing actually to use it with right now. But he goes ahead and does it.
Oh, he's
in this
forcing
case,
the turtle
to burn the turtle. His opponent doesn't know that he hasn't got any monsters in hand.
Interesting.
And so now Maestroke is free to do its thing.
Dark Hole. And a rabbit. Now that's burnt all of the protection in the hand, does it? In the graveyard there.
But it's all for naught if he can't actually make a play out of this. Flips it face down. Attacks with Maestroke. And sets one more card. Now Maestroke is defenseless.
Yeah.
Against Mystical Space Typhoon for Black Horn of Heaven.
And then there's another Bujin Carnation.
And Bujin Carnation. Mystical Space Typhoon, exactly the right card at exactly the right time for Kim Chan-ho. And he quickly Xyz summons. Oh, he's got to get a, I believe it's a Beast or Beast Warrior. And he gets Bujinte Susanoo, Beast Warrior, which searches Yamato. And having not used his normal summon yet for the turn, well, you could do it that way too. You can activate Dark Hole and summon. You can just play all your cards. That's one way to do it. Go all the way, why not? You're in the finals of the Dragon Duel World Championship. And Kim Chan-ho takes game 1 of the Dragon Duel World Championship.
Now it's time to side.
And really the turning point in that one, I think, is when Ivan Alvarez decided to go for Evil Swarm Exciton Knight and destroy his own Medolce ticket, instead of take a more measured approach to things with the Medolce Queen.
I agree.
I think he could have maybe gotten rid of one of the back row cards there and also gotten rid of the Susanoo at the same time. But it could just be that he saw that this might be his last best chance to even things out. And I don't know that he knew about Bujin Carnation at that time and just decided to take the chance.
No, he didn't know about that at that point. Now, siding in against this matchup, Light Imprisoning Mirror.
Light Imprisoning Mirror
Wow.
is... I mean, I think he's thinking it mainly for Light Swarm, if Light Swarm is going to show up, but it's still great against Bujin. Negates the effects of any light monster that activated on the field or in the graveyard. And that's 2/3 of the monster effects that the deck has. The last third is Bujingi Crane and Honest. And that was actually, you know, they came out in, the mirrors were in Gladiator's Assault, correct?
Yes.
And then later on, a few sets, there was Honest in Light of Destruction. And this was just around the time that the mirrors were first starting to see a lot of side deck play as a result of Dark Arm Dragon turbo decks.
Yeah.
Where they were banishing all their cards, bringing them all back with Return to the Different Dimension. There were a lot of dark-based effects. But Light Imprisoning Mirror wasn't really in vogue yet. A lot of people were afraid of Light Sworn when it first came out, but many of them wrote it off as, we don't think that this is worth 3 slots in our side deck.
I played it when I was playing Gladiator Beasts.
And I remember playing right after Light of Destruction came out, and I ran into a lot of people playing it. But my deck, while based on light monsters, had a lot of effects that activated in the hand. So you'd have 3 Honest in that day, and a lot of continuous effects, which are not things that Light Imprisoning Mirror can negate.
Now, back before Honest, with Light Imprisoning Mirror, people used to play it a lot against me because I used to run a Freed the Brave Wanderer control deck.
Really?
Yes.
I love Freed the Brave Wanderer. Actually, that's one of my absolute favorites. The combo, or one of the combos that I used back when Light of Destruction came out, was using Raikou to load up the graveyard and destroy one thing, like a set spell or trap card. And if there are enough light monsters in there, there's at least one because of Raikou, you can wipe out another monster with Freed the Brave Wanderer.
Yeah.
Excellent card, Freed. Haven't seen him in quite a long time, though.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him have play.
Originally from Invasion of Chaos. A lot of great cards from Invasion of Chaos.
A lot of banned cards.
Not too many, comparatively speaking.
This is the big one.
We're not talking Legend of Blue Eyes level of cards being forbidden.
No. There's Dark Magician of Chaos.
Yep. Dimension Fusion as well.
Yeah.
But it looks like we are just about ready to start the second game. Ivan Alvarez has the choice to go first, and he takes it, activating Medolce Ticket, normal summoning Medolce Angeli, and attributing her to special summon.
Yeah, has a pretty good opening hand.
Kim Chan-ho's got a Max C.
You know, so as Bujin Carnation, Book of Moon, Bujin Jihir,
And Ivan Alvarez.
Coliseum, and Soul Charge.
Yeah, Alvarez is going to keep going. He summons the Hoot Cake in defense position and summons out Medolce Messenger Gelato in attack position and grabs Medolce Chateau. Not a bad start, even if you did give your opponent 2 extra cards. 1 extra card for Maxi, plus the one that it has replaced itself with, and the extra card from drawing first on the second turn.
Now, he has got a choice, because there's a Mystical Space Typhoon there. He's probably going to get rid of the ticket, but he also has the Chateau to worry about.
Bujingi Hair, first card up. he's taking a look at that Book of Moon. He flips down the Messenger Lotto and attacks it. Now, let's go ahead and bring up Medolce Chateau here.
Sure thing.
Does give extra attack and defense points.
Yeah.
Not quite enough to save the Messenger Lotto, though. And Mystical Space Typhoon does, in fact, destroy the ticket. And it appears that he did it on his own attack declaration to prevent the surge from a Dolce ticket.
There's another hoot cake and a chateau in hand as well for Ivan.
He did not get to bring out his Euphil from the deck, though. First hoot cake still safe, but it's only going to be around until the end of this turn. It hasn't come up yet, but at the end of Alvarez's turn, Medolce and Jelly will send the hoot cake back to the deck. So its time, its days are numbered, and it also doesn't have any fuel in the graveyard.
Yeah.
So it's not looking particularly great for Alvarez right now. We'll see what he gets in his next draw.
It is a 2000 attack monster.
It's true. 2000 attack can get you a long way.
Especially with the fact that there is no attack boosts in Kim's hand.
It's true, and he couldn't use it on the Hare anyways.
True.
As
because
Hare
it's
is
not
a
a beast
beast,
warrior.
not a beast warrior. Crane doesn't matter. Honest would matter if he had it. And we're back to the game.
Kaiser Coliseum comes down.
And it's looking like Kaiser Coliseum and a pair of face-down cards.
And that's Mystical Space Typhoon and the Soul Charge.
Tickets back on the field because you cannot use Mystical Space Typhoon during the damage step, which is what Kim Chan-ho appeared to want to do. And he... And Ice Hand comes down on Alvarez's side of the field. Considering switching that Hoot Cake to attack position, and does it since it is still safe from battle. Ice Hand destroys itself on Bujingi Hare. He targets
Soul
a
Charge.
card that Kim Chan-ho was not touching previously, which was a Soul Charge. But the combo is going to continue. Fire Hand is next. Although, how much of a combo is it when you're just using one card that keeps searching the next one out of the deck?
That's true. It's not really a combo.
It's not a combination so
It's
much
a
as a
recursion.
tag team.
They go hand in hand.
That they do. Fire Hand does not attack. Hoot Cake attacks, and Mystical Space Typhoon is used against the Chateau so that Hare can stay on the field. Interesting choice. And now Alvarez goes ahead and crashes the Fire Hand as well, which will send Hare to the graveyard and bring out Ice Hand. Now Alvarez has plenty of monsters in his graveyard to use with Hoot Cake, and he's going to try to get as much mileage out of it as possible. So we're going to see another special summon from Hoot Cake. And then Alvarez is probably going to want to Xyz summon with it, though he could just let it return. We're on to main phase 2. Hoot Cake, banishing Fire Hand. Special summoning. Looks like he wants Angeli.
Who wouldn't? Jelly is delicious.
And that's what he goes with. Now, Alvarez has 2 copies of Medolce Chateau in his deck.
And here comes the Exy summon.
Oh, second copy of Hoot Cake. Levier is up next.
And removed.
Attaching
Back.
Hoot Cake to summon back Firehand in
Firehand.
defense position.
Wow. There's the Chateau.
And he has the second Chateau in hand.
So all of them go back to the hand.
Goes back to the deck. And because of Ticket, he gets to add another card to his hand. Goes with Magdalene. Magdalene has a lot of value just as a 1900 attacker, but as a 1900 attacker that also acts similarly to a gadget, letting you
Yeah.
search out another monster,
And
it's
not
twice
just,
as nice.
Kind of differs in gadgets that you can search any monster.
It's
That's
true.
Medolce.
Gadgets did it first, though.
Gadgets did do it first. Unfortunately, the gadget player was knocked out.
Fire
Not
formation Tenki.
literally knocked out, just out of the tournament.
Brings out Bujin Yamato. And now Kim Chen-hun's in a bit of a bind. Playing the Fire Formation Tenki makes Ice Hand live here. Fujin Harume special summoned. Yamato is normal summoned.
Into.
Evil Swarmer
Excellent.
Exciton Knight.
Unfortunately, I do believe that will destroy Exciting Knight as well.
He does get Firehand's effect, and it destroys the Exciton Knight. Ivan Alvarez has only a pair of each hand. And we've seen both copies of Ice.
Wait, what? He should have been able to destroy, should he not?
We are holding pattern right now, so let's go ahead and take a look at Firehand if we can.
Unfortunately, it's not on the field anymore.
So Firehand, it has 2-part suits effect. The special summon part is not mandatory, actually. You can destroy, then you can special summon.
This is destroyed.
So in fact, the Exciton Knight is destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I said no special.
No Ice Hand is summoned.
Here goes the Messenger Lotto.
He had the Mew Angeli play into Hoot Cake, into Messenger Lotto. We've seen both copies of Medolce Chateau and also the Medolce ticket so far, so that means
Is there anything that he can really get?
No.
he is out of spells.
It's a misactivation. There's no need for verification.
Can we take a quick look at Messenger Lotto? Messenger
Sure thing.
Lotto gets a Speller Trap card, Medolce Speller Trap card, so in theory, he could have taken Medolce Palooza out of his deck, but the fact that it wasn't there in his deck indicates that he's taken it out and put it to the side deck.
Possible. Now, Mechwhipped Engineer is coming out. A clever play. Especially if you're thinking maybe there's going to be a dark hole on the horizon.
Unless, of course, the Medolce Palooza is in his hand.
And here comes the Bujin Carnation. Although he's thinking about it.
Goes in and plays it. Hair comes back for another round. So does Yamato. And And they combine to form. Looks like Vijinte Susanoo again.
Yep. Oh,
This
effect
is
failure.
negated by Effect Veiler.
Which does mean that it can't attack every monster as well.
Correct. And the one monster he does attack is switched to defense position by Mech-Whipped Engineer.
Now that is a Mystical Space Typhoon back there, so let's see if he falls with a bluff or whether he just goes. Oh wait, no, he's just going.
He does
for
not. He summons the newly drawn Messengelato, goes straight into Queen Tiramisu, and loads his deck back up with another Chateau and a Messengelato. And that'll send both cards back to Kim Chan-ho's deck.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but 1800?
22
200? That's
and
game.
1800. Got to play it out to the end, though. This is the final. Maybe your opponent will switch something to defense position.
Oh, nope. There we go. He's conceded.
Nope, that is it.
Yeah.
More than enough damage to get the job done. And Ivan Alvarez takes game 2.
A better game for Ivan.
That is a little more in line of what I think of when I think about the Bujin-Medolce matchup.
Yeah.
It's just a never-ending stream of cards fueled by the ticket and by the special summons from Angeli and Hootcake. And you can't really compete with that when most of your special summoning comes from either Bujin Harume or being out of monsters and needing to play Bujin Carnation. Just normal summoning one monster after the next isn't going to get there when your opponent can tear off through his entire deck and pick out all the cards he needs at any time.
And now it was really nice to have that Mech-Whipped Engineer come out.
Yes.
Because I didn't actually see that he had an Effect Veiler in his hand. And he was expecting the Susanoo.
Expecting Susanoo.
Yeah. So he just waited for it, negated its effect, and then protected whatever it attacked.
The combination of Mech-Whipped Engineer and Effect Veiler there, very good. If you take away Susanoo's ability to clear out the field by attacking everything, and then whenever they do attack can't be destroyed, you're in business. And it proved to be too much for Kim Chan-ho to overcome in this second game. As for the side decking, I think everybody has their deck the way they like it.
Yeah.
At this point.
They didn't really do much.
And make your choices, I mean, you practice ahead of time, so you know what your choices are for this particular matchup. And there's not a whole lot of a reason to change from that. Just do what worked. On Kim Chan-ho's side, he probably added in that second DD Crow, and the Kaiser Colosseums definitely came in. We saw them last time around.
Maybe even a Neo-Spacian Grand Mole.
Well, and he's probably going to double up on Vanity's Emptiness. What interests me is the creature swap in Kim Chan-ho's side deck. I'm not entirely certain what that is for. Any ideas?
If he's got either hare or turtle that he can summon, he can swap it over to them, take their monster, kill the hare or the turtle, and then he's got his hare and turtle in his graveyard.
True.
Plus, they've not got much attack, so it makes sense.
Also true. I wonder what matchup you'd sign that in for, though. Perhaps if you ran up against...
There's
no
specific matchup for it.
I guess you could put it in the Bujin Mirror match and swap
Yeah.
your turtle for their Yamato.
So you got
It
two
doesn't target.
Yamatos. You would have two Yamatos on your side of the field. At
No,
that
you
point.
don't have a Yamato.
Yeah.
You only have a turtle, because that's one of the things that happens with Bujin. But Kim Chan-ho is Yamato. He's got it first turn, along with a pair of Spelled Trap cards. And in the end phase, he adds Bujin Mikazuchi to his hand. And it looks like he's got plenty of good stuff to send to the graveyard.
Now, Ivan has a very good hand as it stands now. He's got his Angeli, a Magellan, a Messengelato, Solemn Warning, and Ice Hand.
Not too bad. We've seen Ice Hand wreak a lot of havoc at this match so far.
Unfortunately, there is that Solemn Warning that's set back in that back row. But he kind of feels that it might happen and sets his Ice Hand instead.
Smart play from Ivan Alvarez. Setting a monster in Medolce's either means one of two things. You have a weak hand, or you've got a hand.
Ooh, and there goes the
And
Ice
in this
Hand.
case, it's a hand.
And he destroys the Vanity's
And
Emptiness.
Vanity's Emptiness is destroyed.
Right, it's going to stop.
Fire Hand's up next, and I don't think Kim Chan-ho is going to continue attacking.
Oh, maybe he is.
He's definitely considering it.
I think that would be considered at the moment to be a bad move. It's because he's got the opportunity to Xe summon something right now, and if he loses one of those monsters, he loses it. Though he does have a Mikazuchi and a Hirame.
He wouldn't be able to activate the Mikazuchi, though, if his monster is destroyed by the hand.
No. Nope, he's ending his turn.
He goes straight to his end phase, adding a hair to his hand and sending it to the graveyard. Clearly preparing for the fire hand. Junior hair able to be used whenever. And Ivan Alvarez is up. Quick check of the Bujingi Hair's text. And Ivan Alvarez is ready to proceed. He's added a Book of Moon to his hand this turn. And he summons Medolce Magdalene and attempts to summon Medolce Magdalene.
And Solemn Warning takes it out.
Negated by Solemn Warning.
It's technically not that much of a loss. He's taken out 2,000 life points.
2,000 life points down. Kim Chan-ho knows that he needs to keep the threats at just hands. He can't let his opponent get to the Angeli.
Unfortunately, Ivan actually already has an Angeli in hand.
Kim Chan-ho doesn't know that, though. And Book of Moon is going to join the face-down cards. Great card to have when you think your opponent is about to Xe summon.
Like that.
With the massive card differential, you could see Exciton Knight.
And there it is. He has, however, got Solemn Warning and Black Horn of Heaven to stop that.
And it's an easy call here. You take your free negation with Black Horn of Heaven.
There it is. Exciting Knight. Not that exciting.
Keeping that Solemn Warning is going to be huge. Because from the look at...
Oh, and there's the Soul Charge.
Yeah.
But he can negate it.
Solemn Warning, big play.
Oh, he's letting him... Oh, he's asking for targets first.
Looks like it was just going to be Yamato, but at this point you are
really
in control of the duel. Keep your opponent locked out.
There's the Hirame and the Mikazuchi. Mikazuchi could come down and just ruin things a little bit. No, again, there's the Book of Moon.
Kazuchi comes down, Hirume's next.
And Mikazuchi does not have that much defense.
And Kim Chan-ho is back in his extra deck. Ivan Alvarez opting not to use his Book of Moon right away to break up an Xe summon.
I do believe that's because he knows what's coming.
Kagesuchi is the card to hit the field this time. We talked about him a bit earlier. When he is Xe summoned, you knock the top 5 cards of your deck off into the graveyard. And for each Bujin card you send that way, he gets extra attack points. 2,500 is already quite considerable. But more than that, he has a second ability that lets him detach materials to protect Bujin Beast Warriors, of which he is one.
Unfortunately, if he's face down, he can't use that effect.
It is a continuous effect. Doesn't activate or anything. So the protection effect, in fact, the protection effects of most monsters like that, Silent Honor Arc, Maestro, Fujinte, Kazuki, all of those are quick effect, or not quick effects, continuous effects.
Yes.
They wouldn't really work so well as quick effects, as that would involve you activating new cards while a chain's resolving in the middle of resolving an effect.
Yeah.
And that's not something that can happen in Yu-Gi-Oh! So all effects like that are continuous. They're also extremely handy. Every monster that's had an effect like that has seen some sort of competitive play. All the way back to the Six Samurai,
Yeah.
who couldn't even just protect themselves. They actually had to sacrifice another one of the Six Samurai to do their thing, or the Union Monster, Spirit of the Six Samurai,
Like Grandmaster of the Six Samurai.
or Grandmaster of the Six Samurai. Though Grandmaster, he couldn't protect himself. He was
No.
always ever the card that got sent away. In the case, but it did, notably, work for Legendary Six Samurai Shien, so that when he was joined by Grandmaster's younger self, Kizan, Kizan often took the hit for the Legendary Six Samurai Synchro Monster. Back at our
That's
match,
the Angeli.
we have resolved Ujinte Kagesuchi's effect. It's attacked through the Fire Hand and protected itself.
Food cake. Remove the Angeli.
And Ivan is off to the races.
Messenger Lotto.
Taking a Messenger Lotto for ticket. This is exactly what he wants to see. Exactly what Kim Chan-ho does not want to see.
Now let's just take a look at the defense there. It's still 2,000. It's quite formidable. It'll be hard for him to get over it.
Fortunately, he doesn't have a follow-up for now. What he really wanted is another copy of Medolce Queen. Wasn't in the cards quite yet, though. Messenger Lotto is destroyed, sent back to the deck by its own effect, and Medolce Ticket allows Medolce Magillin. No, not Magillin. Yes, Magillin. Medolce Magillin added to the hand. And from the look of it,
And there's Kaiser Coliseum.
Kaiser Coliseum is an excellent, excellent card for Kim Chan-ho to have right there. It basically shuts off all of Alvarez's ability to do much of anything. And now he has to ponder. Ends his turn. Fruitcake returns to the deck because of Medolce and Jelly's ability. And as a result, Ticket will trigger again for another Medolce and Jelly.
Now this is just getting around the fact that he can only summon one per turn now.
The good thing about Angeli is that she takes herself off the field. So you would not do something that puts a second monster on the field. Question is, what monster would you summon that can deal with a pumped up Kagesuchi? Pot of Duality for double Mystical Space Typhoon and Fiendish Chain.
And he gets the Fiendish Chain.
Space Typhoons go back to the deck. Alvarez is feeling very good about the survivability of his Kagesuchi, still with one material left. Battle phase, Kagesuchi attacks. And its attack points have been pumped up. So a little more damage than usual.
It's quite a lot of damage, really.
Main phase 2, that's the Fiendish Chain. And Alvarez has a handful of monsters. Fiendish Chain is activated targeting Angeli, but it's not going to stop him from tributing her.
Oh,
And Kim Chan-ho cannot believe that he forgot that tributing was a cost. So even though Hootcake isn't going to be able to special summon anything else out of the deck, it does act as a wall, and the Angeli play there got another card out of his deck, another card closer to one of those Mystical Space Typhoons. Fire Formation Tenki. Off the top. Alvarez takes a look to see what might be coming next. Though right now, I think he's just happy at the prospect that maybe Kim Chan-ho is going to put another monster on the field and let him back into the duel.
Yeah.
He's very much considering it.
Maybe another big misplay. You really don't want to open up to XC summons on Ivan's side of the field. No, we left it.
Still shaking his head over the Fiendish Chain. And he goes ahead and ends his turn. Fiendish Chain remaining meaninglessly in this case because the monster it was attached to wasn't destroyed.
Yeah.
It was tributed. And that's actually something that, well, at least on the English and other TCG language cards, we have the problem-solving card text that we've been working on for years now to make it much easier to read your cards and understand what they do and how they work. When you have a card that has a cost with our problem-solving card text, all targeting and costs will appear before a semicolon. So in this case, Medolce Angeli would be tribute this card, semicolon. And that's how you know that Fiendish Chain isn't going to stop it.
Here comes
Alvarez passes his turn.
Yamato has a Book of Moon attached. He looks for the turtle but can't find it.
It's not there because it's two hairs.
And then he realizes he may have made a mistake.
Now I've got two monsters.
Oh no.
Alvarez has 6 monsters, though, and they're all in his hand. Yufil could bring out Hoot Cake. That gets you a rank 3.
Or Mifil.
And what Alvarez really wants to do is somehow get 2 level 4 monsters. And for a time, people were actually running double summon, spell card double summon in their Medolce decks, exactly for situations like this, where they've got all these monsters in hand and they need to make use of them. In fact, the very first time we saw Medolce in high-level competition was with, I believe it's Crystal Blanc. And if I'm remembering correctly, he played 1 copy of double summon, along with, I think, Hands. I believe it was Hands the first time around.
Yeah.
Jason can correct me later if that's not the case.
Ooh, and now we have a Chateau.
It's a spell card. But Alvarez is clearly displeased at the way his deck is treating him at this point. In terms of level 3 monsters that he could possibly summon.
He only has Levier, does he not?
No, he's actually got a few.
Oh, he's got to wind up Zen mains.
He's got double Levier. He's got 2 copies of MX Saber Invoker. That's another summoning effect. He has Tempo the Percussion Djinn. Would be an interesting choice. Mech-whipped Engineer. And that about does it.
The only problem he's got right now is he doesn't want his opponent to get 1 more level 4 monster, otherwise Gar Cowboy is going to
Yeah, otherwise that's it.
Going to end the Dragon Door for him.
He activates the Chateau. Shuffles back the 1 Medolce. And then adds it straight back to his hand. Now he's got double Magdalene, Angeli, Messenger Lotto, Hoot Cake, Ice Hand. Yufil.
So they're going to get with Angeli with all that stuff in hand.
I think you got to set Ice Hand here and hope. Summons Yufil. Special summon, Hoot Cake. Xyz summon.
Levier.
Levier in defense position for Angeli. And Angeli is going to put up a wall. Hootcake is now in the way.
Unfortunately, it may not be enough.
All Alvarez needs is one more level 4 monster.
And he does have a Hirame in hand.
Flips up Yamato. Special summon. Vanishing Crane.
And that's it. Go, 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 Cowboy. Rocks it for game.
Trap Stun's not going to help out. And that does it.
Yeah.
A very hard-fought match. Ivan Alvarez with the clutch Kaiser Coliseum that, or sorry, Kim Chan-ho with the clutch Kaiser Coliseum that Ivan Alvarez never really recovers from, drawing a string of monster after monster after monster.
Definitely messed up.
And none of his mystical space typhoons, which now looking through the deck, it appears that all of the mystical space typhoons were at the bottom of the deck. He had 2 within the last 5 cards and another one not too far behind. And that's absolutely a shame. It's the last point in all of time and space that you would want your deck to give you nothing but monsters.
Yeah.
But that seems to be what happened there.
So yeah, it's very interesting that just how the second game went and then how badly it went in the third game.
Yeah, the second game was really the prototype of what you want for this particular matchup, but the third game just went really wrong.
Yeah.
It looked really promising, I think, for a while.
It started out well, very well, and then just kind of started pattering towards Bujin.
Yep.
It was the Kaiser Coliseum, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Kaiser Coliseum is one of those absolutely brutal cards that restricts the actions your opponents can take, and those are a very popular side deck choice for a lot of decks, be it Macrocosmos against graveyard heavy decks or Dimensional Fissure. Both of those prevent things that need to be sent to the graveyard as a cost, like Maxi or Effect Veiler. It's even a way that certain combo decks use to force through their own plays. They don't care if their monsters go to the graveyard, just as long as you can't use Effect Veiler or Maxi.
Yeah.
And Dimensional Fissure is a spell, so you can play it on your turn at the start of the turn. So you'll see a lot of that from time to time. It's a popular pick in Prophecy.
Yeah.
Spellbooks, I believe, plays it quite a bit.
Yeah, because Prophecy doesn't actually really play any monsters as such.
It's got some Spellbook Magicians. And it's actually pretty important to resolve your Spellbook Magician of Prophecy effect.
Yeah.
So that's another time when you might want to have Dimensional Fissure up first, then Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, so that you can make sure that your engine gets going.
Definitely, definitely.
So an interesting point from the last game, at the very last play, I saw that Ivan Alvarez had Ice Hand in his hand. And you know you're going to lose if you can't get those monsters off of Kim Chan-ho's side of the field. And he knows he can't do that. So what's the best chance you have of giving yourself to win that game? You have to hope that they don't get the second level 4 monster for Gagaga Cowboy. So in that case, when you've got a handful of Madolche monsters, Kaiser Coliseum is on the field, and your opponent has 2 monsters to go along with it. You've got a bunch of Madolches, and you have Ice Hand.
With only 700 life points?
Only 700 life points.
There really is not much you can do.
What do you think gives you the best chance to win?
Could possibly be... Let's have a look and see what's actually in the extra deck there.
So in the extra deck, he's got Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. And
Exciton Knight would have been able to do it.
Yeah, if you could get to Exciton Knight, I think that would help you out a lot.
Silent Honor Rock?
And really the only way I see you getting to Evil Swarm Exciton Knight in that situation is setting the Ice Hand.
Yeah.
And hoping your opponent doesn't get the second level 4 monster until the end phase.
Pretty much the only way that you could do it.
That's the only way I can think of it.
But hadn't he already started using hands?
Early
on in the game. That was the problem. I didn't actually think he had any hands left in his deck.
It's possible that he didn't have enough hands left in his deck.
That's the reason why he was on such low life points. Because right at the start of the game, he was just trying to cycle his hands into something that was far too big to do it. And that just chipped away his life points so much that as soon as the massive, massive Bujin card just hit the field...
was very large. We didn't get to see for a moment exactly how many cards were sent to the graveyard. It looked like 3 were sent, which would make it a 2,800 attack. Bujin take Kagasuchi. Another interesting thing is that's the first time we've seen Kagasuchi all day. Like, we've done a number of Bujin matches today, That's the first time we've seen a Bujin Xyz monster other than Susanoo. And he's got a bunch in there. He's even got Tsukiyomi. Yeah, he's got Tsukiyomi, 2 copies of Susanoo, and Bujinte Kagutsuchi. Not playing the Amaterasu.
No. Now, Europeans, we saw Amaterasu. Okay, so, yeah, well,
We'll talk a little bit more about that.
But we'll...
our analysts.
yeah, we'll hand it over to Jessica and our analysts.
All right, guys, and we are back. 1 down, 1 more to go, 1 final match. But before we get to that, I'm going to throw it over to my desk of my analysts. I have Jason, Jarrell, and Matt. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, Jessica. We only have a few minutes before the finals and the main event kicks off, so why don't you go straight to the first highlight?
You want your seatbelt?
Oh, yeah, please. Someone.
Just give you guys a minute to recap on that one.
So that big Bujingi crane play off the Susanoo in game 1.
Yeah.
Some clarification requested by the Dominican Republic's Ivan Alvarez. Finals of a championship match, championship tournament, you really, of course, want to know everything that your opponent's doing, know all the cards. This is not the point at which you want any sort of errors or misunderstanding.
Yeah. And if you have questions, it's always good to ask the judge, because the last person you want to ask is your opponent.
Don't ask your opponent, and when in doubt, read the card. Don't ask them, hey, what does that do?
Don't take it on good faith. Well, respect your opponents. They're all going to be playing. They should be playing fair, but yeah, asking your opponent. If you're completely unsure, ask the judge. But like as we saw just there.
Yeah.
Shall we go on to highlight number 2?
Yes.
Highlight 2 labeled simply no.
Okay, so
Alvarez tries for the Angeli play.
Yep.
Tributes it off.
For
Brings in a
Hoot
cake.
My friend Mike Hooten's favorite card.
Is that a real person?
Yeah, he's my colleague. He's the one who looks like me.
Did he just say if it's a real person? He's his twin.
I didn't know that was
twin.
the Mike in question. I just, you were like, my friend Mike Hooten. I'm like, oh, that sounds made up.
That's fair. But
Like, is this one of those moments of dry British humor, Matt?
I wouldn't really know how to do that. I'm sorry. I hear it all the time, but I can't set it up. Okay, so we have a bit of a wall set up here.
That's why it's described as no.
Can you elaborate on that?
Can you
Sorry,
qualify
I'm
that?
a little bit lost.
In highlight 3, we see exciting night being brought to the field. So let's touch on that. That epic trap stun right there to protect the exciting night.
Yeah, making sure that's getting deployed.
Mufoy, always a huge play.
Yeah, it's the Levier. Wow, so he managed to go Levier into Excitation and still have less cards in. Yep.
I've heard a lot coming this weekend about the Exciting Night play in Infernities. Not many people were talking about how similar Madolches are in that respect. Like, nearly as easy access to Exciting Night in this strategy as Infernities. And we've certainly seen that happen repeatedly. That's been a tremendous asset for the, 3 Madolche players we have in this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, we take a look at the Clayton Hill and the Brandon matchup, just a whole Infernity setup swept away by Excitation.
Just gone.
And really, really powerful, and it's been pulling its weight all weekend. Definitely try and put one of those in your extra deck if you happen to come by one.
I thought it was kind of neat that he brought it out in defense.
Yeah, he knows he can't inflict any battle damage, and there's the Bujinji hair to protect one of those cards there, so there's no point just taking that life point damage.
Yep. Or leaving any sort of opening for a number 1/1 Silent Honor arc.
Yeah. Which has been the fall of many a player. Not so much in this tournament, but from what we've seen in WCQs or anywhere else. Should come to the next highlight, Maystroke.
This is the first time this whole weekend that I saw this card.
Yeah.
Highlight number 4.
Yeah.
I sat here watching, following the game,
We knew something defensive was coming out, but we didn't know if it was going to be an arc or a Maestro. But of course, Maestro with the bigger booty and just a little bit better in defense. Opens up some more counterattack options against a normal summon field. Very, very smart move. Conservative, very well made.
A very interesting choice paying off for him here. Well, it looked very strong. He didn't win the game, but it
seemed like the right play.
A really good
like
play,
right
for that particular moment.
Yeah. This is that period when Kim Chan-ho was holding both Dark Hole and Booch Incarnation, two cards that can definitely conflict, both very powerful cards on their own, but he was stuck with those two cards for quite a while.
Yeah. I think the Incarnation was that part of the reason he won? I had to disappear.
It was
right
eventually,
before the end of that match.
It did come into play off that clutch MST towards the end.
A lot of thinking going on here before committing to the play.
Yeah.
Ivan not wanting to commit to something he hasn't fought all the way through. Okay, very, very defensive, safe option. The Maestro.
It was a very good call.
Should we go to highlight number 5, which was the GG of Game 1?
Sure.
What is that? He's speaking to me.
We only got like 2 minutes, so.
Yes, and I don't know. Maestro was a very powerful move right there, but in Game 2, the only thing that really happened was exciting night. But I just want to go straight to Game 3.
Yeah, we have limited time before we get started.
So if we can go to Game 3, highlight number 9. So this is just the regular Bujin Open.
The dream play.
In Game 1, Kim Chan-ho had one of those openings where he didn't score the Yamato, which he would normally have about 65% of the time, thanks to his dualities and Fire Formation Tenkis. So we had to play for that mid-game with that sort of Bujin Incarnation that never really quite worked out until the last second. Here he scores the 65% hit and nails the Bujin Yamato. Stronger opening, albeit didn't work out as well.
And he's just holding the game where it is right now. And if we go to highlight number 11.
Yeah, the nail in the coffin, so to speak.
This jumps forward to the third duel.
The minute we see Kaiser Coliseum,
what can he do?
We could just almost imagine that it's almost over.
As Jerome mentioned, this was the first time in the tournament in future matches that we saw Bujin Kakatsuchi, and that with Kaiser Coliseum, very, very secure setup.
It's just no Xe play, which number 101 being the easiest height to that card, and you just can't make it.
And